Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy. This is a video for those of you who watch my love videos, who are looking for love and are viewing videos to, videos of love readings to kind of get a sense of the potential of a given relationship or what's ahead if you have nobody in mind and all of that kind of stuff. So this is a video actually about skepticism, about healthy skepticism, and a recommendation that anybody who is actively looking for a partner or managing a relationship, get some decks. Get some decks, because they really are helpful. The general readings are also helpful. I enjoy them. I'm single and sometimes looking, and so and I just enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching different readers' techniques and how they interpret the cards and all of that kind of stuff. But they are general readings. My readings, everybody else's. When there's by the sign of the zodiac, right? They're general readings. And in my situation, so I'm a Cancer, and so I'm not talking actually about my reading for Cancer at this point. What I was doing was I was looking at other people's readings for Cancer, love readings for Cancer, and it was talking, and there's a person that was in my life, and there's a big question mark hanging over whether to get in touch with him again, whether to give that another try. And I've done a spread in terms of communicating with him, and it said, "Nah, don't do that." It essentially said, "Nah, don't do that." And so I just let it be. And then I was watching these love readings, and they were, there's quite a bit of talk about soulmates, and that, your soulmate is in your life or something along those lines. And I thought, oh, geez, maybe we should try it again. I was doing this. At the same time, I was looking at some videos that are not tarot videos, but videos in general about on and off relationships, because that's the relationship I had with this person. And so I was engaged in skepticism of my own intentions, you might say, or my own desire to get back together with, or not even get back, I don't know, to make an approach, I suppose. And I think it's part of me that doesn't like, maybe just doesn't like the way it ended or something. But so seeing a few of these readings that were really pushing the idea that, yes, your soulmate is around you, and there were just various aspects of the scenario that made me think of my situation and was causing me to kind of crack the door back open. And so I thought to myself, you know what, Jennifer, you've got all these cards. Why don't you ask your cards? Because these are only general readings. They are not about you. Even when I do a Cancer reading, it's a general reading. It's not specifically about me. And so, but then I discovered another thing, another way to be skeptical. Okay. So I was skeptical in the sense of, well, maybe that's my situation, maybe it's not my situation. I engaged in some skepticism there. I reminded myself of the reasons why it's over, and really examined and thought, well, I think all of those reasons are valid and they still stand. But then I went to the Romance Angel Oracle cards. They're a love deck. I thought, I'm going to consult my love deck about it. And this is the card that comes up, Soulmate. Sorry, that's backwards for you. It's a webcam setting. So I got Soulmate. I thought, well, crap. And then Passion. It's like, yeah, there was some passion. And then Reconciliation. It's like, oh, there it is, reconciliation. Someone from the past is returning to your life. And it wasn't, and this was not, when I shuffled these cards, it wasn't a general, is this person my soulmate? I wasn't asking that. I was asking specifically this person's name. So it's nobody else. It has to do with this specific person. Okay? And then heart-to-heart conversations, which is he's paranoid about and never happens. So it reminds me of that. And then suddenly we're at Deception. So I just kept kind of pulling cards to see, and then Trust, and then Honeymoon. And it's like, even though it says this, I thought to myself, because even this is up and down with that Deception and Trust and then Honeymoon, and it could go on and on. I thought to myself, is this just I'm going to a romance deck to tell me about this. And so it's giving, I feel like the deck gave me kind of what I wanted to hear. Sort of, except I am a skeptic in general, and so I was still skeptical. And so I'm just going through my mind and thinking of the reasons that it wasn't working. And so this is about always staying in your power, right? Don't always refer back to your own judgment, even when you're getting various feedback, because that's what I thought. I thought, well, it's a romance deck. So, what's it going to tell me? She does have negative things in here. She does. This is a Doreen Virtue deck. And she does have things like codependency and red flags and stuff. So she does have negative things in here. But, so in the end, I asked myself a couple of things. One was, eventually I shifted the question, So, one was, is the deck biased? Where do I need to go? And if this person is a soulmate, am I better off without the soulmates? Okay, so you have to make some, choices like that sometimes. It's like, okay, maybe we do have a soul connection, maybe we are soulmates, but do I want to live with somebody who I essentially was not making me feel loved, didn't seem capable of making me feel loved? Well, I think the answer to that is no. And so, and that ended up being the reason why it's like, he's not, I'm not receiving here. I'm not receiving. And that's really why I let it go. So I'm not getting anything out of this. And he wasn't willing to listen to that. Or to have that heart-to-heart conversation that came up in those cards. That's when he runs. So, the other question that I asked, okay, soulmate, fine. Maybe I need to look for another soulmate. I don't believe that there's a finite number, and I don't believe that there's only one. Like I said, I don't believe it's finite. I don't think that there is only the one. So then I also shifted my question and asked myself, okay, why? What? And did I get that here? No, I didn't. That must have been a different pull. I wonder what happened. Where did it go? I have to look at that. It's not the first one that I got here. I think it's not showing up. So I asked myself, why do I want to get back with this person? Or why? Yeah, I think that was it. I started asking myself a big why question. Why am I... Oh, did I not preserve that? Maybe I didn't. Yep. It was why am I wanting to return to this relationship? Huh. I wonder if I've lost that card, if it's laying around somewhere. And the card that came, and what I did was I left this alone. And I went to a deck that I expected to be more honest, brutal, if you want to say. And it's not going to show me the card. But the first card that came up was the Eight of Cups. And that makes me wonder what happened to the Eight of Cups. Where did it go? Maybe my Eight of Cups decided to take a hike, which would be in the nature of the Eight of Cups. But I need to pursue that. It's an interesting development. And that is the card that came up as the ultimate card when I did the, should I contact him spread. The result was the Eight of Cups, which is about leaving. There it is. I wonder how that got in there. The Eight of Cups is traveling. So, and in this deck, so I went to the Universal Fantasy Tarot. Thought, all right, give me something that is not romantic, and give me a response to this. Why am I thinking that I want to go back? And it gave me this. And it's like still maybe attached to that person's sadness as you leave. And this is just, to me, this is so evocative of that relationship. So, yeah. And then I must have asked, what an outcome would be. And so I felt like I was getting honesty. And so this is the trick, I think, in terms of a general reading. You're looking at general readings. You need to come back to your own truth after getting feedback, after gathering the information. I mean, that's what we do with these cards anyway, right? After I get this information that seems to be telling me what I want to hear, it still was like, are you sure? Are you sure? I'm not sure that this is the right thing for me. It might be the right thing for him. I'm not sure that it's the right thing for me. And I got to this deck, and I feel like this deck is telling me what's true. I think it's telling me, because this is not... even the cups down here and the fact that they're filled with things or baubles it just, yeah. To me, this is the relationship I am aware of. And even this is like, okay, this deck is on my side. This deck is telling me what I feel is likely the truth. It's telling me that I have maybe an invalid attachment with something that I'm leaving behind. I maybe feel bad about it or something. That doesn't mean that it's a good thing for me to return to. And what is the relationship going to be like? Well, here am I, and there's this person. Now, some people might think, oh, this is great, he's there. No, I want somebody who's with me, not somebody who's off over here. And then it happens again here. To me, this is me, and there he goes, off on his own goals. Oh, yes, this is me, and this is him. It's like, no doubt. And it's like, well, this is not a balanced, even if it's strength. This is the strength card of this deck. This is not a balanced relationship here. It's not a relaxed relationship, really. I don't know. That was amusing to me. This, yes, again, running off, throwing the cups, the emotions, doesn't care to have them hindering him, is off on his own thing. Yep. And so the whole thing was like, yep. And this is interesting too. And I just took this as a final card. It's like the love eventually makes him feel guilty, sick, weak, something like that. And so there's something unhealthy there. There just is. So I kept looking, essentially, until I found a deck that didn't tell me necessarily what I wanted to hear. Which I felt like was this. And it could have been that this was kind of telling me a history of the relationship. But I felt like this deck right here was telling me the truth. It's like, it's not going to change. It's going to be like this. You're going to be nesting to some extent. It's not like I want eggs or anything, but you're going to be in the home. He's going to be out somewhere else. You're going to be here doing artsy stuff. He's going to be out there doing something else. There's no closeness here. There's no closeness. And you can even see here, look at the difference between that little person there and that other person. They're different. Yes, casting the emotions aside. They're a bother. I'd rather be running. Yes. Thank you, Universal Fantasy Tarot. This deck wasn't telling me what I wanted to hear. It was validating my actual experience. It was validating and reminding me of my actual experience. And the larger truth of the fact that is not going to change. That stuff that, that I experienced, this distance is not, it's not going to change. This casting aside and wanting to run and cast aside the emotions, it's not changing. It is what it is. And that is not what I want. If that's a soulmate, if that's my soulmate, I am frankly better off alone. So there you go. There is my own experience that I wanted to share with getting feedback from general readings that made me sort of question my own position on a relationship. And and how I ended up sort of finding my way back to my personal truth. Okay? The universal fantasy got me back to my personal truth. And, you know, in all of that time, I had these doubts. I had these doubts, and that's why I kept looking for this, you know, what is the personal truth of the matter here. And so that also tells you how, you know, a romance deck is going to give you romantic messages. Like I said, this does have negative cards, and I will say that it could have been giving a history. That wasn't what I was asking it to do, but it could have given me a history of the relationship. Yes, a feeling of soulmates, passion. I don't know about reconciliation, wouldn't have been in that position. You know, the heart-to-heart that didn't happen, feelings of deception, then back to trust, you know, on again, off again. Well, I'm not sure that we ever made it back to a honeymoon. And then unrequited as I back off. And yes, children were involved. Codependency. I think this is starting right now. So, and then eventually free yourself. So, it could have been like giving me the big picture, but that isn't what I had asked it to do. And there are many people who would see this and say, "Oh yeah, well we're soulmates, and so we have to try to make it work." It's like, well, in my situation, no. It's been tried. It's been tried. And again, thank you, Universal Fantasy Tarot, for giving me the straight poop and reminding me what is simply the truth of the matter. So there you go, everyone. So just a reminder, even with my general readings, anybody's general readings, never let go of your own truth in the situation, even if it isn't a general reading, even if it's a personal reading for you, and something just doesn't, you know, even if, like with that Romance Angels deck, you feel like, I think this is just telling me what I want to hear. And is it giving me, does it ring true? Does it ring true according to your own personal experience? That's always what you have to go back to. The cards are giving us something to reflect on. Even the Romance Angel Oracle cards presented me with the situation and eventually had me asking, you know, is it worthwhile? If this is my soulmate, is the trouble and lack of reinforcement that I will be receiving in the relationship worthwhile to me, or am I better off alone? And I think I'm better off alone. I'm sure, actually. I'm 100% sure. After the support of this deck in particular, it was very helpful. All right, so I will leave it at that. Yep. Always be true to yourself. Always refer back to your own judgment. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.